Now let us delve deeper inside this caller and call function. In this example, the name of the caller function is Aladdin, just for the easy understanding. The motivation of Aladdin is to write or print his lucky number on Jasmine's door. However, Aladdin is not capable of doing that because he may not have the access to Jasmine's palace. So what he decided that he will pass his lucky number to Genie and then call Genie's function to print that number on Jasmine's door. So he called Genie to print message on Jasmine's door and passes his lucky number to him. As soon as the C++ program encounters this line, it calls the function and it directly goes inside the called function. And inside this call function, Genie, what he does is, at first, he just print a nice message that, all right, I am printing this number on behalf of Aladdin. And after that, he just print out, that is see out, Aladdin's lucky number on Jasmine's door. That is on the output screen. So that is the broad overview of the caller and called function. Now let us look at some of the minute details and the syntaxes in caller and call function both. So let us go back to our previous slide. That is the caller function. The first thing that you will notice that before calling the function, we have declared the function. This is just like the fact that you have to declare a variable or constant before using it. Just like the variable declaration, the function declaration also preceded by the type of the function. The type means what type of result the function is producing. It is just like the fact that a variable name is preceded by the data type, indicating what type of data the variable is holding. Now in this function, Genie is not actually returning anything, or Genie is actually not producing any tangible result. Rather, he is just writing a message on Jasmine's door. Hence, there is no data involved in it or data element involved in it, and that is why the type of the function is void. If Aladdin called Genie to hold some kind of integer or some kind of floating point number or string, based on that, this type should have changed. Anyway, so in this prototype, there are three different parts. The first is the type of the function. Second is the name of the function, followed by the parameters that you want to pass. And that parameter should be enclosed inside parentheses. In this case, the parameter is a type of integer, and this is actually Aladdin's lucky number. And in the end of this line, there should be a semicolon, just like any other C++ statement. Now, once you have declared this function like this, then you are free to call this function with proper parameters, like any integer. In this case, Aladdin called this function with my lucky number parameter. Now, as soon as this function is being called, as we have mentioned before, it goes to inside the called function. Now, called function is nothing but a code block, which is basically enclosed inside opening and closing parentheses, closing curly braces. And so in this called function, there are two different parts. The first one is the function heading. in the function heading is almost similar to the function prototype. However, here is no semicolon involved in this line. Rather, it has a opening and closing curly brace. Now, inside this opening and closing curly brace, the actual algorithm or the actual operation is done. And this part is called the function body. Now, for the sake of simplicity, in this program or in this example, I have just done two cout operation, that is two print operation, but it can take any complex form. It can multiply two numbers, it can evaluate any complex arithmetic expression, it can do any computational task in here. Now, if you take another deeper look in it, you will realize that the function parameter name here is entirely different from the caller function call. Let's go back again. So inside this caller function, Aladdin called this genie with the parameter with the variable name called my lucky number. However, when it goes to the called function, genie is utilizing it as a Aladdin's lucky number. The variable name is changed to Aladdin's lucky number. It makes sense because Aladdin is generating the number as my lucky number, which makes sense. And when genie is actually using it, it is using as a different identifier name for his easy understanding. And that is exactly what happens in C++ program. There is no relation between the function parameter name when it is called and inside this function. They can be different. However, you should remember the type of that parameter should be same in both the places, either in this caller function or in the call function parameter. Every time the type should be same. Here it is an int, and if you go back to the caller function, then also we will realize this is type int. Another thing that you should notice, you should know here, for the sake of simplicity, in this example, I have used only one parameter in a function, which is of type integer. However, in real world, it can accept any number of parameter of any data type. It can even have 0 parameters, it can have 1 parameter, it can have 100 parameters. And those parameters can have any type, starting from integer to float to string to anything else. So this is all about the caller and called function.